All right, family. We live once again with the general. Uh, we're dealing with the topic of how Europe, seemingly has turned its back on the United States in this Iran conflict with Iran, and especially after in Ukraine, defending Europe on so many fronts, and really paying the whole ticket a lot of times, or majority of the bill, for to defend and protect and secure Europe. And here it is, they don't want to send, minesweepers and things like that to the Persian Gulf, to the Straits of Hormuz. Okay. And so I think that, yeah, I think the United States should pull out a lot of that. It's time to start dwindling them damn soldiers over there. You see what I'm saying? And you might have to let Vladimir run in on some of it. When Vladimir get to running in on some of it, then they'll know. Ain't none of them ready, because he ready to run in on Finland. He ready to run in on Poland. Poland think it wants some, but I think Russia beat it up. Beat it up, and so even though Russia weak, they super weak. Them European nations over there super weak. They can't beat nobody. I think the the National Guard in many of the the bigger states of the United States could whoop some of them nations over there and whoop their military. The National Guard over here. So they not prepared, and so they've been getting free security. Bombs, planes. They getting free security over there. And then when you ask them for a minesweeper or something like that, they can't do nothing for you. And so, and you got to understand, see, Russia see Iran as a means to get back at the United States. To get back at the United States, since the United States have funded Ukraine. So this is it's a lot. It's wars going on inside of this war. You know, and that's what and you got to understand, you got to have a long view of what is actually happening here, because it ain't just about a war with Iran. It's a war with Russia. It's about a war with China. They behind the scenes, they got uh you know they got stake in the game on and so they gonna use Iran to do some of their dirty work. Okay, to do some of their dirty work, give them capabilities, help them along the way. They might not give them the whole blueprint, but they're gonna give them enough of the blueprint where they could work the rest of the way to getting to the bomb, getting to certain capabilities. So that's what Russia and China is doing. It's no doubt about it. We can't be naive to that. They got China, was just talking about building a pipeline, a railway from China to Iran, where they could they could export oil and all type of trade, from Iran to China. That's not, and so they got a lot of future plans that, where they trying to bypass the United States and do other things, bypass that waterway, because, if you ain't got enough power on the seas, and and you can understand that the smallest little thing on that waterway could cause major disruptions. So it's just as simple as saying there's mines out there. It's gonna cause a lot of people not to sail, because they're gonna fear blowing up and all of this. So the waterway, so they see in the future that what's happening in the Straits of Hormuz could be even a bigger battlefield on the Arabian Sea or the Indian Ocean for China. So they trying to figure another way to get that oil to China. And so they thinking about building a pipeline, railways from China to Iran. You see, so China got some stake in Iran. China got stake in the Persian Gulf, the Straits of Hormuz. So does India. Okay, so does India. So so we could see that how they would get behind the scenes support Iran in developing a lot of the capabilities that it has. How far are you gonna let it go? You see, how far is you gonna let it go? Well, you got when you talk about Russia and China and North Korea, you know, Iran, Belarus, they support Russia. You know, they don't fall back on each other like that. You see, China support Russia. They might not be lazy, but they support them. They might not give them everything, certain things, but they support them. Even if it's under the ground, they're gonna support them. You see, so you're not gonna see, if Russia is in a situation where it needs some help, they're gonna find one way or another to get them some help. They're gonna find one way or another to get them some help. And so that just show you how Europe is weak. And in that respects, they do stick together. That block over there, they do stick together. The Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans, the Iranians, they stick together. You see, and they just as big as imperialists as the United States. Shit, I mean, we got to quit. I mean, we got to stop this nonsense. All of them is imperialists. All of them are imperialists. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. Okay? Vladimir Putin is just as bad as Donald Trump, and Xi Jinping is just as bad as Putin and all the rest of them. They all imperial. They all got a vision to have their people on top of the world and your ass on the bottom. And they all, and that's just the way that it is. And here we is, instead of building up our own nation with, I'm talking about the black nation. Instead of building up our own nation, we picking and choosing between these damn despot leaders, and trying to put one over the other, make one better. All of them wicked. Every last one of them wicked. So since I know that, I'm gonna choose the one where I can at least, victory, some form of victory can give my people enough time to get their damn head together. You understand what I'm saying? So that they can, do something different and get out of this situation you know so but our people don't want to do nothing. They want to lay under this man forever, and I'm not and without no other alternative. And so doing that, it leaves our people very vulnerable to attacks that nobody's gonna come to their aid. You see what happened in COVID. People didn't even, you couldn't even get no help out there. So what if this nation is bombed? Look at what happened during hurricanes and things like that, of that nature. You could barely get, and so when you having, if you having a national, national devastation. You know what I'm saying? What the hell you think gonna happen? Who gonna tend to our people? This is real. This is real. This is not a game. This is not no damn movie. And that's what's wrong with y'all. Too many of y'all think this shit is a movie. This is not a movie. So, when people start saying death to America, they mean you too. You understand? They're not distinguishing between you or nobody else. So you just got to understand that. You got to understand that. And when you understand that means you too, then you have to make a decision where you and your people and your family gonna come out on top. And I see I done already made my decision. I don't give a damn about no Iran. You know what I'm saying? They, you know what I'm saying? They get to talking, and they've already done let them know that if you go too far, we're gonna wake you up. We're gonna wake you up, and you're gonna be missing a city or two. You see what I'm saying? And it's gonna hurt the world. But if you on that where you gonna violently, come and try to come into the possession of nuclear weapons so you could shoot it off and destroy, lives over here. I wouldn't give a damn about no Iran. I'm just gonna be up front and center with you, and just gonna be up front and center with you. I'm not prepared to see our people in devastation like that. I'm talking, and that's just real talk. I'm not prepared, and anybody else that would make a decision like that is a fool. I'm gonna just be serious. You know, our people ain't, they not waking up fast enough. So, you got to give them a little more time to do that. You can't just say, that they start. No, I believe that Iran was trying to get a nuclear weapon. I do. I do believe that. And that's true. Look at North Korea. No, we said that about North Korea. When they said that North Korea was trying to get a nuclear weapon, you know what happened? They got a nuclear weapon. They got the nuclear weapon. And Kim Jong-un just started shooting missiles every which way he could. You see what I'm saying? He said he was testing because he's really trying to get that type of capability where he could send it to the United States. That's really what he's trying to do. He's trying to get the capabilities. He can shoot it a certain distance, but Kim Jong-un is trying to develop missile capability where intercontinental ballistic missiles, where he could send a missile all the way to the United States. This is what he's aiming to do right now. But again, Kim Jong-un, I believe, is just trying to keep his house. He's not trying to take over the world because he don't have that type of military to do that no way. Trying to stay safe and keep people from running in on him. So with Kim Jong-un, you could at least say, yeah, he's crazy. He's a crazy man, but he ain't trying to take over the world. That's something totally different with Iran. Iran is trying to take over, starting in the Middle East. They was warring with Iraq or want a war with Saudi Arabia. You see, so they really want to take over all of that. Okay, they want to be in charge. So you got a different aspiration with Iran. Well, Iran wants to be an imperialist power, and they have laced all in Russia, with it, because Russia has benefited from it too. I mean, look at Syria. You see, they up there. Yeah, Russia was helping, Syria, but they lost that. They end up losing that, and so they taking some L's right now. Russia taking some, but it's gaining on one end because it could sell some of its oil. They done been sanctioning their ass, and so this has kind of been almost like a blessing for Russia, because now it can sell some of its oil and it could continue to fund its war in Ukraine, and so. Okay, then. So, but that's what Russia has been doing. So they've been trying to prop Iran up to be able to do damage, the same as North Korea. Everybody know that Russia and China, little by little, help North Korea get to the level of having a nuclear bomb. Okay, I'm no fool. Okay, so even if they didn't show them outright, they was training them in a civil nuclear program where they built nuclear reactors only for energy and things of that nature. But when even a civil nuclear program will give you a certain type of enlightenment on how to create a nuclear bomb. You see? And so if you got any type of and putting it on. So now it's about putting it on a warhead, and then getting a missile delivery system that can take it over so many miles. You want to be able to hit certain, and that's a heavier missile. You know what I'm saying? That's a heavier missile. So it's going to take some greater technology than what they have, but they on the verge of achieving that. And like I say, when you talk about Iran and the Israelis, the hate that they have is the greatest hate on the planet. If Iran and the Israelis and the Israelis do have nuclear weapons, it's been acknowledged that Israel has nuclear weapons. If Iran was to achieve a nuclear weapon, man, the Israelis and Iranians will be the first two nations on the planet to have a nuclear war. Neither one of them is really got the mentality, because they probably didn't they ready to drop it. The Israelis is ready to drop a bomb on Iran. That's where they ready to go with it. You see what I'm saying? And people will keep you know, irking this shit on in our understanding on what level that is at. So Iran can't get no nuclear bomb because they on some wild shit. They've been there, gave certain level, because you got levels of nuclear, of bombs. You got dirty bombs, and you got low yield nukes. You know what I'm saying? Man, they could put a nuke in a damn backpack and carry it in a country, man, and detonate it, and so they've been to gave some low yield nuclear weapon to damn Hezbollah or anybody, and detonate. And we can't have that. We cannot have that. Straight up. It's enough that we got these nations on the planet now that got nuclear weapons. But at least they have, since Japan, and quiet as kept, Japan, they asked for it. Shit. I mean, really. Japan was trying to come to the United States. They bombed down Pearl Harbor. Japan was another nation. They was trying to come to the United States. If they would have got over here, or they was, they would have caused great damage. They wasn't slowing down. Japan was on some imperialistic, and what they was doing over there, you know what I'm saying, to the neighboring countries was vicious. So when they bomb Pearl Harbor like that, they asked for it. That was devastating. You understand what I'm saying? If it happened today, it'd probably happen the same way. It just would be a bigger bomb or get dropped on their ass. That's just the reality of it is. And so, I mean, you gonna let Iran and get the capabilities, and then be able, and once you start dropping nuclear, the whole planet is just gonna change. It's a wrap. It's a wrap at that point. It's a wrap. Y'all dropping nuclear bombs on the planet. It's a wrap. The world economy, as you know it, gonna be in shambles. Nobody gonna want. It's gonna be a wrap. So you know, you know, so people got to quit thinking. And the United States is most definitely not innocent. We know that. We know the history of the United States, but because it's the big beast on the planet right now. I mean, a few years ago, it was a different big beast. We got to quit acting like, oh, no, 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 no. You see, you all of them is heads of the dragon. You got one head bigger than the other heads, but all of them is nothing but another head on the dragon, and that's real talk. So quit trying to choose one over the other. I'll choose the one that could give my people enough time to make a better decision. You see, to make a better decision, so they can go ahead and get themselves together and get up out of this madness. And really, it's about bringing Ma'at back to the planet, because there's no Ma'at on the planet. the planet is being ruled by warmongers. You see, they're being ruled by savages. Some of these people are straight savages. You cannot allow them to have no type of power or destruction because they're gonna destroy everything, especially if you ain't really never had nothing, no way. Most of these peoples ain't never had nothing, no way. They just got a little something. They just got a little something and they don't know what to do with it now. They still live very savage, like when they first came out of whether the cave or out of the desert. The Arabs and shit and their conquest and the savagery that they used to conquer all the lands in which they control the bloodshed. They ain't left that level of savagery. None of them. You see, none of them. And so, we got to quit thinking that this war, United States and Iran been going back on a level now over 40 years. And everybody know it's going to happen one day. It's going to happen. you know, they're going to do something. Somebody going to do something. One or the other going to do something to pop it off. That's just what it is. Ain't going like, oh, they went on. No, this shit been going on. And so at this point in time, it's probably good that, people just go ahead and get the fight over with and see who going to come out on top. And a lot of people believe that, and that's a shame. Instead of just, it's a shame that people saying that the United States is somehow losing, and how's the hell is they losing? And they bombing them people over there into the damn Stone Age. See, y'all don't think of it, but they Neanderthals too, they Neanderthal. But I try to have a little bit of understanding because the government don't give a damn about the people. The people might choose to do something different. It is modern, but a lot of them peoples over there, them mullahs, they still living like they on carpets in the desert with a camel and shit. You see, and so they haven't moved past that. So they want to keep the world restricted to that era of just low frequency, and savage, the level of a savage. And so as they over there bombing, and if they hit it, man, they literally level the place. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do you understand? Look at the Israelis, what they did to Palestine. That shit wicked. You know what I'm saying? It's just wicked. You just literally bomb every damn building in the country. That's wicked to have to live in some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? No matter who it is, that's wicked. You knock down all civilization. That's what's happening over there in Iran. They ain't went all the way in yet. They pretty much keeping it, military. But if they do anything, if they get a good shot in, and if they get a good shot in somewhere, and they do great damage, man, they're gonna pay. They're gonna pay. They're gonna and they're gonna go in there and get their ass. Reality, and they could be got. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. They could be got because the people ready to overthrow their ass anyway. So if you get in there on their ass, and whoever go in, they're gonna get the people gonna ride with them. They're gonna know that that's their time to get their ass up out of there. If there's gonna be, and they're gonna overthrow their ass, their own people gonna overthrow. They just need the momentum to get, they over there brutal on their ass, killing 30 and 40,000 people just because they protested. So, I mean, that's savage, and like I say, it's savagery all over the place. But damn, knocking off 40,000 people at one time, just for marching, and yeah, I say, wow. In this day and age, just 40,000, just wipe out 40,000. Say, wow, and that's where they at. So yeah, they over there on some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't really, but you don't want that level of craziness on the planet if you can help it, because they not gonna stay to themselves. If they get any type of military aid or any, you gonna have a problem out of Iran. Iran is worse than North Korea, man. People say North Korea is bad. Iran is worse than goddamn North Korea, man. Them people's, them damn mullahs is crazy. The people is trying to modernize, and so understand. But at the same time, I still say, and I say unequivocally, that they are not the original peoples of the land. That's a fact. So I'm not saying that in any sense to, because, what happened to the black people that was there before they got there. And just look at the condition of the black people that's in the nation right now. And that'll tell you the story about how they'll treat your ass if they get in any position of power over you. What will happen in that? So you ain't got nothing coming. So quit trying to support these people when nobody supports you. Okay. Judah. Judah. You back in here, Judah, with your house shoes on. See, I had to come in here. I knew Judah was in here crying. I say, why is it? I say, damn, man, the damn, yeah. I say, yeah. I say, yeah, look at Douglas. Douglas came back too. You came back too, Douglas. Yeah, I knew y'all was gonna come in. Yeah, I knew y'all was gonna come in. Yeah, I would say, damn, this is a goddamn chat a little moist. You see what I'm saying? I said the chat a little moist. I said, what's going on? And come in and crying all in the chat. Yeah, Judah misguided. Judah all right. Judah all right. Judah, I think Judah want to be a mullah. You want to be a mullah, Judah? Mullah Judah. That's what I'm gonna start calling you, Mullah Judah. Ayatollah Douglas Allen. Yeah, look at Douglas. Douglas want to be an Ayatollah. Yeah. Oh, they over. Oh, which one they in? Okay, they can stay over there. They ain't doing that. Yeah. Yeah, Judah gone over there. Yeah. You might as well change your name to Abdullah. Judah Abdullah. You might as well start calling him Judah Abdullah. Go on over there, Judah. You understand what I'm saying? They gonna get that damn welt, nigga. They gonna have your ass over there strung up, nigga. Ah, yeah. You going on over there, dog. Going over there. Nigga, by the time we see you, nigga, your name gonna be Rashid. You know what I'm saying? They gonna have you gonna change your name, nigga. Yeah, going on over there, dog. They gonna have you sitting on carpets, nigga, reciting the Quran. Yeah. You better not mess up neither. They're gonna put that whip on your ass. Yeah. Go on over there. Ayatollah's gonna get your ass. Yeah, that's for real. But anyway, family, I appreciate y'all coming out. They all right. I see they tried, and I'm all right with you feeling the way you feel. You know, it's good to be able. It's good that you came in and you disagree, but you show respect, and that's all right. That's what it's about. I like family to come in and disagree because it makes but have respect. It makes it fun because we could talk now. We can talk about each other, and that's good. But anyway, appreciate y'all. Oh yeah, any yeah. Yeah, yeah, they all beasts. You already know. That's why we in this predicament now. And the world is suffering from they still living like they just out the cave. Yeah. He said, speak on Islam, brother. We'll speak on it. You know what? We'll speak on that at a different time. Because I don't want to blame the religion necessary, but the religion is a part of that too. The religion is a part of that, but we'll speak on it at a different time. I appreciate y'all, family. Get over there to Patreon, support the general, and we'll be black before the night is up. Okay? All right, family. Black power. Judy said I'd rather wear a turban than skinny jeans and dresses you niggas be wearing. Ain't nobody wearing that, Judy. You just told on yourself, nigga. You keep saying it, Judah, go somewhere, man. You might be a damn Neanderthal. You try to get that one. You did a sucker move. You tried to type something in right when you thought I was gonna end the live screen. That's a sucker move, Judah. That's a sucker move. Now I got to look at you totally different. You see, and you talking about you like to wear a turban, nigga. That said a lot about you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. We ain't got to get rid of him. He's a sucker though. Yeah, yeah. Say you got to let him run a lap then. Yeah, make him run a lap then. All right, family. I'll see y'all in a minute. Black Pop.